They're good to go.
All right, I'm gonna call this meeting to order at 4:01. Stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right, and for roll call, we'll just go around and say what our name and role is. So I'm Bree Van Rokel, I'm the Director of School Improvement.
Eric Ryan, Director of Technology.
Jake Huffman, Crick County High School.
Rob Bonner, Athletic Director, Crick County High School.
Eric Osborne, Board Member.
Andy Parker, Executive Assistant to the Superintendent and School Board.
Joe Guerra, Director of Human Resources.
And then we have Jen zoomed in online.
Yes, Jennifer Knight, School Board.
Pass it to Joe to explain the process here.
Excuse me for looking at my script, but I just wanted to explain the process and the purpose again. So thank you for taking time to join us today. The purpose of this listening session is to gather your feedback regarding the potential appointment of our interim superintendent, Dr. Joel Hoff, to the role of permanent superintendent. The board values hearing directly from stakeholders as part of this decision-making process. Your perspectives are an important part of that. This particular session is organized for administrators and confidential staff. As part of this process, a survey was distributed to all stakeholder groups, and the results of that survey were read aloud at the February 9th board meeting earlier this week. Those results are one component of the board's consideration. These listening sessions provide an additional opportunity to gather more detailed input and ensure voices are heard beyond the survey responses. As you heard, two school board members are present today, Mr. Osborne and Ms. Knight, to listen carefully and take in your feedback. They will not be engaging in extended dialogue or sharing their personal views during the session. They may ask follow-up or clarifying questions, and you're obviously invited to respond. In terms of format, you have 45 minutes available. You end promptly at 4:45 if the full time is needed. So here's how the session will proceed. Participants will have an opportunity to respond to the pre-developed questions. There's a sheet in the back if you want to grab one. If time allows, after all the questions have been asked and everyone has an opportunity to speak, we'll open the floor for additional comments. Board day to listen carefully and ensure your voices are part of the board's consideration process. So thank you again for being here, for contributing your perspective. And with that, we'll begin. You want to have Marcus introduce himself?
Yeah, Marcus, could you please introduce yourself?
Marcus Hayes, Crick County Middle School Principal.
Perfect. Any questions about the process before we jump in? Great. Okay, so the first question is, what has been your experience with the interim superintendent so far? And then along with that, what stands out to you about Dr. Hoff's leadership?
I'll start. So far, my experience has been extremely positive. What stands out about Dr. Hoff's leadership is his visibility in the schools, his interpersonal relations with all staff members. It takes time to get to know our classified staff, our students, certified staff, all staff in our buildings. And I think he puts them at ease and he's approachable and is genuinely interested in their everyday lives. So he does a good job of connecting with everyone in our building.
I've been with the district for 6 years now, all in some capacity with Dr. Hoff. So I've worked with him through that time. What stands out is that I agree with Mr. Huffman of his visibility, his involvement in all things Crick County School District. And I would also say that what stands out is his responsiveness.
For me, I've been with Dr. Hoff. I think we came to the high school about the same time and served together as assistant principals. And what I know about him is he has no preconceived notions of an issue. I like how he listens to both sides of an issue. He asks questions. So his questions stand out to me is probably my favorite thing. He wants to know all sides of the issue, and he doesn't seem to have bias along the process, right? Which I think is very, very refreshing and helpful. So, I like how he, wants to do well by all groups. He stands by his employees. But yet he's not afraid to, I'm not saying disciplinarian, but he definitely lets you know when you have things to work on and helps you in that process, not just leaves you out there. So, I enjoy that about him.
Eric or Jen, do you guys have any clarifying questions or follow-ups?
Hey, Marcus? Can you talk to your responsiveness? You said that he was, he had good responsiveness in regards to something specific or just in general?
I think in general, I know as administrators and ADs here, I think our goal is to not let things get to the district office level. However, when things do get above us or challenged, he is very quick to support, to get involved, to be someone else that can be a sounding board for us as administrators.
Thank you.
Great. Moving on to the next question. What priorities has Dr. Hoff emphasized in his leadership, and how have those priorities influenced the district? How well do they align with the current needs of our County School District?
Similar. I think Dr. Hoff
Yeah.
has set a clear vision for the whole school district. And what I like about it is that vision, with our vision and values that he set, it can be catered or it can be applicable to every school. And the vision and values for Crooked River fall into the same basic categories, but each one of those items can be different, and that's the same at the high school. So, students first, building bridges, those values, the subcategories under those are specific to the school, but it kind of brings the entire school district together because we're all kind of pulling in the same direction in our own specific way. So I really appreciate that clear vision. And I think those visions and values were pretty well thought out based on the last few years. And I think that those are the things we need to be prioritizing as a school district in order to go from good to great.
You mentioned good to great. I was going to say that as well. And then kind of the same idea, like with some of our book studies, focus, making sure we're all administrators, all leaders, building leaders are focusing on similar pieces. Like Jake said, elementary to the high school and middle school is all a little different, but having aligned focus. And this year, reading and writing is a huge focus for our district, and just getting back to some of the basics and doing those basics really well and really often. And so I think kind of pushing and coming alongside the building leaders in moving the district that direction.
As far as emphasized in his leadership, Mr. Hartman referenced, mentioned the priorities up there, but the building bridges, taking care of people, right? Those are, those make me breathe a sigh of relief. I have 4 bullets here of things that I like what he's done. He has a clear vision. He's consistent all the time. He got good people in the district office with him. He has what seems to be, from my outside looking in, a great relationship with the board, and all of that makes a very comfortable, inviting atmosphere in the district. And so something that I'm proud to be a part of again. So.
Any follow-ups there?
Just a quick tangent, so I can get the needs down. What do you guys think the Crook County School District needs are that he aligns best with?
Is it good for the kids, right? So first, it's child first, and everything that we discuss, how's that gonna help kids? Why do we need that? What does that do for kids? And so for me, he's kid first, and he wants the advice of people who are working with those kids. Why do we need that? Okay, and he can support that if we can show him why it's good for kids. So it doesn't all the other outside noise doesn't seem to be, that's his first priority. So it's enough for me.
Yeah, I would say. He's placed a high importance on the students, and that means connected, safe, and stable schools. So we have student safety as a priority and their well-being, and then also better never stops. So we are a good school district. I truly believe that. But all good school districts, I mean, there's an opportunity for good school districts to just stay good. And I think he's always trying to chase edges and trying to find ways to improve our schools with the advanced math track and trying to up rigor and try to increase opportunities for all students. Students that are on different tracks. And so that's what I like about Dr. Hoff is he's never satisfied with just being kind of okay. He's ready to always like push and get a little bit better. And I think that idea of like continuous improvement, when your leader has that mindset, then it spills down into the schools. Because it's really easy to just get complacent, say, oh, we're doing okay. But we can always do better. And I really like echoing that sentiment.
All right. Jen, did you have anything on this question? Okay. All right, third question. How effectively has Dr. Hoff built relationships and established trust with students, families, staff, and the community? What actions or behaviors specifically with that have you noticed?
Shows up to everything. He's at everything. I mean, he's not at everything, but he's at a lot of things. And he takes input from stakeholders and from board members. If they have ideas that could make us a little bit better, he'll take that, process it, and figure out a way to make that happen. So setting up welcoming tables at morning soccer and setting up soccer games at Barnes View and showing up to the basketball games and the choir concerts and coaching his kids' of sports. And so he's involved in the community. He's not somebody that lives over here in, some neighborhood outside of Prineville. He lives here. He contributes to the economy. He's here and he's part of this community. I think that's pretty awesome. So that would be that's how I think he's effectively built relationships and trust.
Yeah, to piggyback, I underline the word community because students, families, staff, he's actively engaged in through his job, but even more so like with the community, like Jake said, seeing him at Parks and Rec things with all of his kids and being involved, not just within the schools, which is his job, but also even outside of that as well.
So you guys touched on most of it. He's visible. He's built relationships, in our circle, what I can see. As far as the rest of it, I don't know. But when you see him at the events, he's never standing alone. People are always come up and shaking his hand, and that's not somebody who doesn't build relationships. So that's somebody that's approachable, right? If people are comfortable walking up to him and shaking his hand, then they can also come into his office and sit down and discuss a sensitive issue. So the fact that he's approachable is a big deal. He's good there.
Okay, any follow-ups? Moving on. What components of Dr. Hoff's communication have you appreciated? What are specific communication practices you'd like to see more of?
He's always been a good communicator. Based on feedback we've received from employees and community members, I think that's even become more robust with the monthly email to staff, with the classified staff check-ins and the more training opportunities, with the district newsletter, with the presence on social media, with all the parent square communication. I feel like everything that we're able to do was implemented and tried to do based on the feedback that we received. So if there's like right now, I feel like we have really good communication, but if there's more feedback that comes, I think he'll be responsive to that feedback. So if communication practice I'd like to see more of, I like the idea of reinforcing the district's priorities by school in the monthly letter. So we have, at the high school, we have priorities, of meaningful reading and writing. Hey, let's double down on these things, and I think I'd like to see that coming from the district level more too, to reinforce what the buildings are trying to do, so that staff can see that it's also coming from the district office.
Yeah, I think it's easy for us to appreciate Dr. Hoff's communication, because the things that he asks of us, he also does. And so that's nice to see that families, parents, kids, staff are getting communication from many different levels. So I think that definitely helps kind of hammer home some of those visions and values and expectations. The more of, I'm not sure.
What I appreciate the most is proactive communication, when something comes across his desk, or a question that he has, or hears something, a concern from somebody. He reaches, if it's athletically, related, then he reaches right out to me and says, hey, something come across your radar. And he always has action steps and follow through with those things. So, I appreciate that with his communication stuff. As far as see more of, I don't more of that. Continue what he's doing.
Moving on. How have you felt about Dr. Hoff's leadership around school safety and student/staff support? When concerns are raised, how confident do you feel that they are heard and addressed?
I feel good about it. With the help of the board, we've gotten more police presence in our schools. We've taken some extra safety measures around building security, so that the safety part I feel good about. When we have something that's maybe a threat, we act immediately and get communication out as quickly as possible to the people that it affects. Staff support, I think this year especially, there's been an increase in recognition of staff with the board meeting recognitions, and then just the building level recognitions. So I'm pretty confident that people feel heard and those things are addressed.
I think you see some of it in action, with some situations that have came up this year that Jake referenced good to great. I think the idea of communication and responsiveness to safety concerns and safety issues that do come up, that we, as well as Dr. Hoff, are learning and getting better, and learning from areas of growth. So I think that's a real positive thing there. School safety being at the old middle school, I do have concerns, and I know he's always open to hear what we need and to help get the right people on the job for some tweaks and some adjustments of things that we want for our kids.
That's a big thing for me, is open to anything that we need. So he's there as someone who's ready to serve if we feel we need something around safety, or support parents and students. I've been here since 1999 and been under a lot of superintendents in that time, some very, very good ones. And he's right there, and maybe even slightly above when it comes to the approachability and communicativeness. So really high on my radar there.
Any follow-ups? Great. All right, as the board considers a permanent appointment of Dr. Hoff, what concerns or questions would you want them to carefully consider?
Don't have any. He's already been the acting superintendent and the interim superintendent. I feel like he's been superintendent more than the permanent superintendents we've had over the past few years. So I feel like he's ready for the job. And I hope that that's the way we go, because we have some good momentum and he's got a good vision. And it'd be nice to have a little long-term stay so that we can actually act on some of the great things we have going.
I think how he has been involved in the district since I've been here has showed a lot of great qualities and things that he can bring to the table. So I don't have any big things for the board to consider, but I think stability is a huge piece for growth, for progress of our district. Cause change, when you get too much change, it's hard to find that footing and keep going when there's too much change.
I agree. I think consistency and longevity, that's how you build tradition and build that strength. And in Dr. Hop, you have somebody with a young family, very, very tied to the community. It's gonna be here. And I shudder to think in opening it up, when you have something that works, swinging, rolling the dice, whatever you want to call it, it scares me. So yeah, I would love to hear from the board, what we're looking for in somebody, and if this wasn't it. So, yes, that's it.
Okay. Is there anything that you think hasn't been captured in the survey or the discussion that you'd like to discuss?
I'll just say in general terms, it seems like superintendents, like generally speaking. I think about the ones that we've had, they kind of come in for like a 3-year cycle to like fix a school district. Then they move on to another one. So a lot of superintendents have been to multiple school districts. And when you look at Dr. Hoff and the way he's kind of gotten to this point, he's been in Crick County for a long time. So he's played a lot of different roles in our school district. And I guess I don't look at him as a typical, fix a district, move on type person. He's more invested in this community as his home and raising his kids. And so I feel like there's more of an opportunity to have kind of a long-term presence here with him in a community that he actually cares about because he's invested in. So I think that's not typical for superintendents. I think that's just one thing to consider.
Do you have any questions for us as a board member?
Well, it's pretty straightforward.
Perfect. I have nothing.
He's not perfect. I'll say that. But he can always get better.
I beat him in the long jump. Does anybody know that? He's the same.
All right, with that being said, I think we can go ahead and adjourn this meeting at 4:23. Thank you for your time.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for being here.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for listening. Thanks, Ed.